A late night, a weekend that drifts, a few days where sleep is off, eating's off, and routines soften. Doesn't have to be catastrophic, just enough that you're knocked off course and your goals and plans have not been followed correctly. And at some point, a familiar thought appears. Right, I've messed it up again. Not just today, not just this stretch, the sense that whatever you'd been building has slipped out of reach. And that moment, right there, is what this video is about. Because most of the damage doesn't come from the slip itself. It comes from what we decide the slip means. Here's the idea I want to get across. After a slip, your job isn't to get back on track. It's to stop the story that says you're off track. And that story is what turns manageable disruption into that spiral we all know. Most advice skips straight past this moment. Things like, just get back into the routine. Pull yourself together. The classic, start again next week. Now on paper, that all sounds reasonable, but in practice, it often makes things worse. Because it assumes the problem is behaviour, when most of the time it isn't. It's interpretation. What usually happens after a slip is this. A local deviation, so a run of late nights, a lapse in habits, or a period of low energy, this gets misread as a global failure. Your brain doesn't say, this has been a demanding stretch. It says, the pattern's broken. This version of me didn't last. And once that interpretation lands, everything escalates. You feel ashamed. The routine stops feeling available. You stop reaching for the things that were helping. Not because you can't do them, but because they no longer feel like you. This is why so much advice fails right when you need it most. It tells you to rebuild momentum when actually what's actually happening is that your sense of continuity has taken a hit. Advice like, just go back to your full routine, do a proper reset, make up for lost time, be strict to this time. All of that assumes that you're standing on solid ground, when often you're not at all. Again, there are two different jobs after a slip. One is containment, the other is rebuilding momentum. Most advice jumps straight to the second one. This video is only about the first. So containment isn't about fixing your life. It's about stopping the damage from spreading. It's about preventing a period of strain from turning into a verdict about who you are. Because once that verdict sets in, even good advice starts to feel punishing. So what does containment actually look like? It looks like proof that continuity still exists. Something small and ordinary that says this isn't over, it's not broken. For example, take food. Somebody on a diet, they've been doing great, eating well, but then over a few days, the person drifts. Bunch of takeaways, snacks, sweets, candy. They eat later more reactively, not intentionally like they planned. Then at some point, the internal voice shifts from, that wasn't ideal, to, I've blown it. It's over. And with that comes a subtle sense of deserving punishment, stricter rules, compensation, a feeling that ease has to be earned back. When what actually helps here isn't a reset. It's just one normal meal. Not clean, not perfect, just normal. And that meal isn't there to fix your diet. It's there to answer a quieter question. Is this still a part of my life? The same logic applies to sleep, hygiene, work, creativity, everything. Where the mistake isn't actually the lapse. The mistake is trying to repair everything before you stop the story that says it's all gone. So here's a simple refrain that's been genuinely useful for me. When things drift, ask this one question. Is this evidence of collapse or evidence of strain? Collapse means something ended. Strain means something is under pressure. And most of the time, it's going to be strain. But when you mislabel strain as collapse, you respond way too aggressively. And that overreaction is actually what causes the breakdown. So again, containment is about responding to strain just as strain, without panic and without punishment, just keeping one thread intact so the rest can recover. Rebuilding momentum matters, obviously, and we'll get to that. But it works far better when it's built on ground that hasn't been morally scorched. For now, this is enough. You don't fall off track because things got messy. You fall off track when mess convinces you that the track is gone. And stopping that story is often all you need to start feeling like yourself again.